Wild animals are dangerous. They can scratch, claw, bite, kick, and cause a heck of a lot of damage when they want to. But when the circumstances line up, Mother Nature's beloved creatures have proved time and time again that they are nothing short of heroic. From a bear bodyguard to a helpful horse, an entourage of life-saving dolphins, and a protective pride of lions, allow us to show you the wonder of selflessness in the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, there's absolutely nothing stronger than the bond between a mother and her newborn. No matter the threat or obstacle staring her in the face, the mother will do whatever it takes to keep her young out of harm's way. We've seen it with lions, dogs, cats, and even primates. Although at Chicago's Brookfield Zoo in August of 1996, zookeepers gained a unique new insight into the primal motherly instincts. A 3-year-old boy who was visiting the zoo had lost his footing and tumbled almost 20 feet into the gorilla enclosure down below. The boy lay on the ground unconscious. Unable to run or defend himself, he was an easy target for the animals in that enclosure. But then, who would come to the rescue? None other than 8-year-old female gorilla Binti Jua, who at the time was raising her very own newborn gorilla. After assessing the situation, Binti Jua, with her own infant hitched to her back, ran over and scooped up the injured boy, not to take him captive, but to protect him from the other potentially threatening animals. Binti cradled the child and placed him near the enclosure entrance, where zoo staff could safely extract him and provide him with medical attention. When you're capable of inflicting a severe bite force of 650 pounds per square inch, it's fair to say that not many other animals would want to mess with you. That is the case with the king of the jungle, the humble, intimidating, protective lion. And as it turns out, they're not just protective of their own kind, they've also been known to keep an eye out for innocent and vulnerable children. Ah, those natural parental instincts kicking in again, right? A 12-year-old Ethiopian girl found herself in a world of trouble back in June of 2005, while making her way home from school on the outskirts of Bita Gane, which is around here, about 350 miles southwest of Addis Ababa. A group of 4 men suddenly snatched her up and took her captive. With an agenda to marry the young girl and no hesitancy to inflict violence, there was no way that the young girl could overthrow 4 grown men. That all changed when some unexpected reinforcements came in to lend a helping hand. Or should we say, a helping paw. A week after the capture, the criminals were transporting the girl with police in pursuit, when out of nowhere, a pride of 3 lions emerged and blocked the men in their path. Experts believe that the girl's cries may have been interpreted as a whimpering lion cub. The lions assessed the situation and chased the threatening men off, then kept guard on the girl until the authorities arrived, before simply walking about into the forest. This is Kevin Hines. He's a San Francisco man who, if not for one incredibly caring and thoughtful sea lion, wouldn't be alive today. Kevin was just 19 years old when he jumped off the iconic $35 million Golden Gate Bridge in September of 2000. But this story doesn't have a tragic ending, it has a remarkable one. Ordinarily, the frigid waters of the San Francisco Bay take no prisoners. That would have been the case for Kevin if not for a wild sea lion. The force of hitting the water was extreme, and Hines suffered injuries as a result. He resurfaced but struggled to stay afloat because of his injuries. All of a sudden, a creature brushed up against his legs. Thinking that it was a shark, Kevin attempted to kick it away. He was going to live to fight another day, and this shark was not going to stop him. But it wasn't a shark, it was a sea lion. A fully aware sea lion who understood that Kevin was at severe risk of drowning. The animal kept Kevin afloat by swimming underneath him and propping him up above the water until the Coast Guard could arrive and step in. All this within just 12 minutes of the jump. When a young boy named Rial Guindon was on a camping trip with his parents in Ontario, Canada, he never would have imagined that he'd wind up fighting for his life. What's more, he couldn't have ever conceived the way in which he was saved. His parents' multi-$1,000 fishing boat had capsized, and tragically, they didn't make it back to the shore. With fear and terror in his eyes, he ran as fast as he could toward what he thought was the direction of the town, hoping to get help. But the journey proved too far, and night fell before he could make it, leaving him stuck in the wilderness without supplies or expertise. As he drifted into unconsciousness, a warm, fuzzy creature brushed up against him. When he awoke the next morning, to his alarm, he found out that 3 wild beavers had snuggled up against him. Their warmth had saved him from freezing to death overnight when temperatures had dipped below 0. Of all the animals on the planet, none is more profoundly large than a whale. And yes, they are gentle giants, who typically swim around the oceans, keeping out of harm's way and avoiding human contact. So when marine biologist Nan Hauser felt a 50,000-pound humpback whale nudging her during a dive, she was confused. In her nearly 3 decades working with whales, in a career that pays over $70,000 per year, she has never had a humpback initiate such obvious contact. Well, turns out there was a good reason for it. As Hauser scoped around, she spotted spotted a menacing 15-foot tiger shark lurking in the distance. By tucking Hauser underneath its fin, the 60-foot-long, 40-ton humpback whale was providing a shield for the diver. If not for the humpback, she could have found herself in a potentially deadly situation. Whales have an inner drive to protect their calves from predators at all costs. And as we've seen already today with lions and gorillas, sometimes that instinct extends to humans as well. There's just something about ocean-dwelling mammals acting out of character to protect humans that continues to baffle scientists. A similar event happened back in October of 2004 at Ocean Beach near Whangarei, New Zealand. That's right about here. Rob Howe and 3 teenage lifeguards, including his daughter, were casually swimming when, seemingly out of nowhere, a swarm of 7 bottlenose dolphins encircled them. Howe dove underwater to try and understand what was going on. It was out of character for these creatures to come so close to a swimmer. Then, when he spotted a great white shark hovering beneath them, it all made sense. The dolphins hadn't appeared by chance, they recognized the threat and were protecting the swimmers from the predator's razor-sharp bite. For the better part of 3/4 of an hour, the dolphins stayed put, shielding the lifeguards from the great white. Only once the sharks swam off did the bottlenoses dissipate. With wages of just 20 New Zealand dollars per hour, lifeguards can't afford extra protection in the water from rare predators. Thankfully, the dolphins didn't cost a thing. With an average salary of £32,500, about $40,000 US, farmers in the UK don't expect to be put in life or death situations either. Yet that is exactly what happened to Scottish farmer Fiona Boyd in 2007 when a few of her animals went rogue. Even though we consider cows relatively harmless, as big, bulking, lazy farm animals, believe it or not, they are responsible for 4 times as many human fatalities as sharks. Crazy, right? This is because they are considerably heavy creatures, and dairy cows in particular have been known to use their weight to their advantage, grouping together to squash anything on the ground beneath them. This almost happened to Fiona, who found herself laying on the dirt after one of her cows had knocked her down. Before she knew what was going on, the cows had trapped her. One was straddling her. She curled up into a ball to protect her neck, expecting to quickly meet her fate. Realizing that Fiona was in dire trouble, who should come to the rescue? None other than her trusty horse, Carrie. The horse galloped over and, using its powerful hind legs, kicked the cows off of Fiona, allowing her to crawl away under the electric fence to safety. Who would have thought that a $3,000 dairy cow would cause such a ruckus? From farmland in the UK, let's skirt on over to the California wilderness. Over $140 billion is spent by tourists in this state every year. And while some of that goes to cities and theme parks, much of it comes from visitors exploring the amazing outdoor opportunities and blissful national parks. But in 2012, one Californian mountain hiker named Robert Biggs bit off far more than he could chew. And his experience was far from serene. He was walking his usual trail and had just finished admiring a mother bear and her cub from afar when a mountain lion leaped out from behind the trees and pounced on him. In most cases, mountain lions will grip their victims by the head. Thankfully, Robert was wearing a large backpack, which took the brunt of the force. As he wrestled with the mountain lion, trying to escape from its grasp, the friendly mother bear that he'd been watching beforehand sprung into action. She tore the lion away from Biggs and sent it scurrying away into the woods. Now that is one lucky hiker.
I almost 100% sure that the bear was trying to save me.
When a woman was sailing on the Indian Ocean off the coast of Mozambique on September 9, 1972, a sudden explosion erupted from her boat. Forced to jump ship, her chances of survival were slim to none. Ivan Vladislavich had no choice but to attempt to traverse the unpredictable ocean waters and swim to the nearest shore. Unfortunately, with a cut on her foot, the interest of a few unwelcome guests was piqued. Yep, you guessed it, sharks. As the frightening sharks circled, a pod of dolphins came to the rescue. One of the dolphins swam underneath her, allowing Yvonne to hold onto its body to help her keep afloat. The dolphins escorted her for almost 200 miles until finally locating a buoy that she could cling onto until the next ship passed by to take her to safety. European authorities spend almost £7 billion per year researching the treatment and prevention of diabetes. And yet, even with so much money being passed around, nobody could have predicted the outcome when UK resident Simon Stegall went into a diabetic coma while sitting at home on the couch. Simon's wife simply thought he had just fallen asleep watching TV. But thanks to their fluffy pet rabbit, she hastily realized the severity of the situation. After Simon had passed out, his rabbit jumped onto his chest and began licking his face and thumping her feet with furious intent. It was extremely out of character for the furry critter, which immediately caught the attention of Simon's wife. Paramedics were called. Simon lived to fight another day, and his little rabbit will forever be remembered as a hero. The average cost of owning a rabbit is between $500 and $1,000 a year, a cost that, in retrospect, Simon would have no trouble paying for a second chance at life. Have you ever experienced a crazy moment with an animal? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for checking out The Richest. Have a great day.